Alright guys, welcome back. We're coming at you today with a different video. We're doing a deep dive on DK defensives and how you can live. So let's jump right into it. What are we talking about today? We are talking mostly about Icebound Fortitude, Anti-Magic Shell, and Lichborne, and how you can use those in Mythic Plus dungeons to survive. So jump right into it. Lichborne, as you all know, it's one of our big defensives. Just reading through the tooltip right now. It's a 3-minute cooldown. Your blood freezes, granting immunity to stun effects and reducing all damage you take by 30% for 8 seconds. So when are you using Lichborne? Or not Lichborne, Icebound Fortitude. You're using this when you, in the middle of a boss, say you have a big dot come on you. You can, if it's not a magic dot, you can slam your Icebound to help your healer out there. Big group-wide damage going out, you can slam it there. The big caveat with Icebound is if there's any magic damage going out, you should almost always press AMS before you press Icebound. So anytime you see magic damage coming out, your priority should be AMS. We'll talk about that a little later, and then Icebound. So as far as using it as just a defensive, that's one way you can do it. A different way that a lot of people don't think about until they start playing a lot more is that first line right there, saying granting immunity to stun effects, as well as the DR. So what you can do is if you see a stun coming in, or if you get stunned, which some people don't know, if you're in a stun, you can press Icebound and it gets you out of the stun, as well as gives you our 30% DR. So if you get stunned in a dungeon and you're about to eat some swirly or something because you're stunned, you can slam your Icebound Fortitude and run out of that stun because it'll get you out of it. So those are that's the two main reasons, or two ways you're using Icebound Fortitude for the most part. Talents that affect it: Acclamation, it reduces the cooldown by 60 seconds. There's not really a lot of good places to drop a talent to grab that. It's not really worth it, I would say. You don't really need it 2 minutes. Most of the time, like I said, you're pressing AMS. So I probably wouldn't put a point into that, but it's something you can play around with. If you're feeling really squishy, you can slam another point into that. We'll save the best for last. We'll go to Lichborne second. So Lichborne, draw upon Unholy energy to become undead for 12 seconds, increasing your leech by 10%, reducing damage taken by 15%, and making you immune to charm, fears, and sleeps. The big thing about Lichborne is you always take this node right here, which actually gives Lichborne the damage reduction. If you don't have that, it just makes you immune. It increases your leech and makes you immune to charm, fear, and sleeps. So you always end up taking that talent point right there. What was it called again? Unholy Endurance. So it actually gives you that 15% damage reduction. And so how can we use Lichborne Inkies? One, you can just use it as damage reduction. But whenever you're using it as that 15% DR, you're getting more leech as well. So you're doing a little bit extra healing there, which kind of helps make up for some of the DR you're not getting, as opposed to like that 30% from Icebound. And the other thing it does that a lot of people don't really think about is you become undead. So what does that mean? That means you can actually, if you're in a real pinch, you can Lichborne and Death Coil yourself for a heal. And so you'd want to make a macro for that, which I do have, I talked about in my last video, but my macro is just cast Lichborne / cast target myself, Death Coil. So if I come over here at some dummies for a second so I get some runic power, you'll see if you watch my nameplate right there, I press my macro and I shoot a Death Coil at myself and it heals me. And it was a, what was that, a 40k, 60k heal, 60k heal, 65k heal. So it's not a small amount of healing that you're doing. That's a decent amount of healing. So if you're ever in a real pinch, you can Lichborne yourself and then Death Coil yourself for a heal. You're using some runic power there, so obviously you're using some offense, but that might keep you alive a little bit. The other thing that people don't realize about Lichborne is it makes you immune to charm, fears, and sleeps. And so say you're in an underrot and you get hit by maddening gaze. If one, it doesn't one-shot you on a high key, you can use Lichborne to get out of that fear. So if you're fear, charmed, or slept at all ever in a dungeon, you can use Lichborne to get out of all of those, which is great. Alright, moving on to our holy grail as Death Knights, Anti-Magic Shell. So, just reading it in case you don't know, surrounds you in an anti-magic shell for 7 seconds, absorbing up to 328,000 magic damage and preventing application of harmful magical effects. This is a part that some people don't think about a lot, but damage absorbed also generates runic power. Talk about that a little later. And we always take anti-magic barrier as it reduces the cooldown by another 20 seconds and increases its duration and amount absorbed by 40%. So that takes it from a minute cooldown to a 40-second cooldown. And you will be pressing this so much in keys. There is so much magic damage that goes out that you can just completely negate with AMS. Group-wide damage, targeted damage. My healer just loves every time he sees that green bubble pop up, or blue if you have the glyph. So, as I said, there's that last line there where it says damage absorbed generates runic power. So this is more important if you're playing like Breath in Raid, but you can offensively press AMS as well to generate runic power from everything you absorb. So you can either, one, extend your breath if you're playing Breath, or you can just slam more glacial advances or frost strikes with that extra runic power that you get. So that's an offensive way you can use a defensive ability. But probably the most important part about AMS is it prevents the application of harmful magical effects. And so what that means is, say we're on Pulse of Infusion and you're on the dragons and they're casting Deep Chill. If you press AMS before they actually cast it, it will prevent the application of the dot to you. So anytime there's a big dot about to go out, a big cast about to go out, you can pre-AMS it and you won't get the dot on you. So that's like the biggest thing about AMS that you will be using in keys. There's so many applications. You can go through my other videos and the guides on the dungeons about what you can pre-AMS to dodge, but there's just so many things in every single dungeon that you can pre-AMS. It is just an absolutely incredible tool for us. And that's it for AMS. Alright, moving into the talents and what actually makes us really, really tanky. So, obviously, we have the basics. We have AMS, we have Icebound and Lichborne that I talked about. Another thing a lot of people don't press a lot of is Death Strike. And if you take the improved Death Strike talent, it increases the healing by 60%. I started doing this recently instead of the Absorb Shield, and it is actually a significant amount more healing. So I'm kind of recommending people run that a lot recently, because you do get a lot more healing out of your Death Strikes. So if you're in a pinch, you get hit by something really big, you slam a Death Strike, and you're pretty topped off. Your healer doesn't have to worry about you. They can worry about other people that also got hit by the same whatever AoE you had. Like I said, the other one, Permafrost, Absorb Shield from auto attacks. You can take that if you want to take something out of points lower. Better in the Third War. That's why we have so much health. We absolutely love this. I take AMZ almost all the time. For my group, it's really useful because we're coordinated groups, so we call it out a lot. I'm fine with losing a point in Unholy Bond, so I lose 10% Runeforge effectiveness. I mean, I'll take the AMZ all day for my group to keep us alive. I don't take Assimilation, which increases the AMZ. Just kind of personal. Death Pact, it's just not worth it right now. Wouldn't be taking that. And then here down bottom, which is where you can get a little bit of flex spots. So between Will of the Necropolis and Blood Draw and Insidious Chill, you can kind of throw points around. I like Will of the Necropolis. If you get chunked, it'll save your life. 35% damage taken is reduced when you're below 30% HP. Blood Draw, you just get a little heal. It's a good heal. It's not the best, but I honestly like Will of the Necropolis a lot more. Insidious Chill is just, I just have to take it to get down here. It's just not that good, but... And yeah, that's all. So thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.